Hey everyone. A client sent me an inspiration photo of a range hood they wanted me to build, so I recreated it in SketchUp and developed an initial design. In this video, I'll show you how to take the SketchUp model and prepare it for VCarve. The hood has already been modeled to the exact dimensions I measured, and this will be the final size that fits inside the carcass. This is pretty simple if you have the actual hood motor insert or from spec drawings of the unit. As you can see, I've created several different scenes. I do this because it makes navigating the model much easier and allows me to quickly jump between views while taking measurements for the surround. Now that we have the overall hood dimensions, I'll measure the side pieces that wrap around the hood, draw them with the rectangle tool, hide the original group, and use the follow me tool to create the profile. Once that's finished, I'll make it a group and switch back to the side view so we can build the side profile. Since this hood has a curved transition, I decided on a 1-inch radius. I'll lay out the profile using the dimensions. Five and a quarter inches over, 2 feet 2 inches up, a quarter inch for the material thickness, down 9 inches, and then finish it with the 1-inch radius. Because this hood is built around an internal carcass, I made the top of the struts 2 inches thick before following the contour of the hood. I'll draw a few construction lines to make following the profile easier, select the correct edges while holding shift to remove any extra parts, and then use the follow me tool. That gives us the overall side structure, including the notches that will fit around the hood assembly. Next, I'll select the face and use the flatten face tool. This is a free extension in the extension warehouse and comes in very handy for figuring out how to cut curved faces on the flat. If you were wondering whether you can flatten everything at once to save time, unfortunately you can't. Doing that creates problems with the geometry, so each face has to be flattened individually and moved into place. Once all the faces are flattened, I'll save this in a new scene called Flattened Faces. That way, if I navigate away, I can instantly return to this layout. Now we'll take one of the side struts that will become part of the internal structure and rotate it until it's flat. It doesn't have to be perfectly aligned, but I like to try to keep things organized and somewhat on the same plane. Since this project is being built from 1/4-inch plywood as the exterior sheathing, I need to subtract 1/4 inch from the mating surfaces so finished panels sit perfectly flush. After removing that material, I'll clean up the edges and curves, and that piece is complete. One thing you'll notice is that the Flatten Faces tool creates multiple connected faces. VCarve doesn't always like the geometry, so the easiest solution is to delete each face, draw a single line across it, and let SketchUp regenerate one clean face. I'll repeat that process for each piece by exploding the groups, deleting the old faces, drawing a line, and creating a fresh geometry. Now we'll gather all the pieces together and determine which faces will overlap during assembly. Wherever one panel overlaps another, I'll subtract a 1/4 inch from the appropriate face so everything fits together correctly. After that, I'll remove any unnecessary lines and repeat the same process for the remaining side pieces. I found that using the offset tool makes this process much easier. Rather than rebuilding every mirrored part from scratch, I'll simply duplicate and flip the completed pieces. It's faster and it guarantees everything stays perfectly symmetrical. With all of the parts finished, I'll group everything, copy it into a new SketchUp file, save it as a separate project, and move over to VCarve. Inside VCarve, I'll create a new job using a 4x8 sheet of 1/4 inch plywood. I like to set my Z0 to the machine surface, but you can do whatever workflow you normally prefer. Next, I'll import the SketchUp file, making sure none of the objects come in as a group geometry. Then I'll arrange the parts across the sheet. This project requires 6 structural supports at least, while the remaining parts are simply the decorative faces. For this demonstration, I'm cutting everything from 1/4 inch plywood. Depending on your design, you may want to cut the structural supports from 3/4 inch plywood instead. This is what I did. If that's the case, simply create a second sheet and repeat the same process. For the toolpath, I'll select a 1/4 inch end mill, set the cut depth to a 1/4 inch, and choose to machine outside the vectors so the finished parts stay exactly to size. I'll add 4 tabs to each part, calculating the toolpaths, and preview everything to verify that all cuts look correct. Once everything checks out, I'll save the toolpath, transfer them to CNC, and we're ready to start cutting. Here's a couple photos of the project. Hope this was helpful and led you in the right direction. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.